CTV News with Sarah Freemark.
A deadly stabbing in Barrie is under active investigation, with one person now in custody in connection with the death of a man this morning. We begin tonight with a developing story as a full-scale investigation is underway this hour as detectives work to piece together what led up to a violent attack that turned deadly this morning in Barrie's downtown. Let's get straight there now. CTV's Jack Morse joins us live from the 5 Points area. That's near the scene where this all happened. Jack.
Well, Sarah, traffic is moving unobstructed through this intersection once again. Just about an hour ago, police tore down the police tape, wrapped up what they were doing here, packed up and left, where just this morning, a man was fatally stabbed. It happened here at the 5 Points intersection just before noon. A man found lying on the ground with a stab wound. He was rushed to hospital where he died. Shortly after, police released these pictures of the suspect, 29-year-old Justin Harris.
Thanks to the CCTV cameras that we have downtown, we were able to identify the suspect very quickly.
Both the 36-year-old victim from Barrie and the suspect Harris were known to police.
He is known to police, I can tell you this.
Police have not yet released a motive or said if the stabbing was random or targeted, nor have they said if the two men knew each other prior to the attack.
We have these two individuals interacting at some point, but we don't know the reasons as to why they were interacting.
Still missing, and the reason officers were on the scene for much of the day, the weapon used in the stabbing.
We believe it was an edged weapon that was used. We're currently still looking for that. We have the scene being isolated, and our forensic identification unit is currently going through the entire area.
Police picked up Harris before 3 this afternoon, just a few hours after the attack and only 3 blocks away. Now, Sarah, the suspect remains in custody at this hour. He's set to go before a judge for a bail hearing tomorrow. Sarah, back to you.
That's CTV's Jack Morse reporting live from downtown Barrie. We will continue to follow that investigation. It's now been 2 days and crews are still on the scene in Oro-Medonte after a rooftop fire broke out at a commercial plaza there on Wednesday. Now businesses are back on site starting to clean up and take stock of the damage that's been left behind. CTV's Luke Samar joins us live tonight just off of Highway 11 with a look and to share more on how those impacted are really just grappling with it all. Luke.
Well, Sarah, driving up Highway 11 towards Aurelia, commuters would have seen a fire on this rooftop on Wednesday night. Officials are reporting no injuries, and business owners return today to check out the damage. A first-hand look at the extent of the damage inside a business after a rooftop fire heavily damaged a building along Highway 11 on Wednesday night. All businesses in the complex remain out of service, including Canada Post, who have temporarily moved their operations into Barrie while crews assess the damage. Oro-Medonte Fire have been on the lookout for hotspots since Wednesday and cleared the scene Friday afternoon.
We're looking at about $700,000 to the building itself. However, until some of the businesses and insurance companies have had the opportunity to come in and assess the contents, we don't have a total value.
CTV News spoke with businesses affected by the fire who were too busy to go on camera, and they were told the fire started in the soffit of the roof and spread from there. Businesses closest to the fire sustained smoke and water damage. Other businesses on the side of the building escaped with minimal damage to the interior thanks to winds that pushed the fire towards the parking lot. North Country and Bateman's Fine Carpentry showrooms remain untouched. They are waiting for Hydro to put them back in operation.
There's certainly businesses in this complex that have been hard hit. There's some that have not been affected at all. So it's just going to come down to the ability to get their utilities turned back on, and some of them could be probably back in business within the next few days.
With the building avoiding severe damage.
We have had a third-party engineer come in and assess for structural damage to determine next steps with respects to letting some of the businesses either remove items and or return to operations.
Crews arrived on scene this afternoon and began cleaning up debris from the blaze. Officials tell CTV News that repairs will begin shortly and the building should look brand new in just a few months. Sarah?
That's CTV's Luke Samard reporting live tonight from Oro-Medonte. Thanks, Luke. And some big news out of the Newmarket Courthouse today. A man charged with shipping potentially lethal substances to people intending to kill themselves has pleaded guilty to 14 counts of aiding and abetting suicide. CTV's John Woodward reports on the case of Kenneth Law.
Yeah, today is heavy, for sure.
Heavy for Kim Prosser, the mother of Ashton Prosser Blake, who was headed to university in Toronto before he died by suicide at 19 years old.
I carry forward his legacy in my heart and my soul.
Prosser, among dozens of families coming to Newmarket Courthouse to hear the guilty plea of Kenneth Law, who arrived in an OPP transport truck as media from around the world watched. Law was a trained engineer and former chef at an upscale Toronto hotel, but he also had a side business selling a meat preservative that in high doses is deadly, a product he marketed under a pseudonym on websites aimed at suicidal people. CTV News has tracked 150 deaths around the world tied to those products, the youngest just 16 years old. Court heard his income from the sales neared $300,000 using sales and payment platforms of Shopify and PayPal, the most recent death in January.
Para prevenir más muertes.
The father of an 18-year-old who died, Yesenia Bedoya Lopez, said he hopes the judge sends a message to stop anyone considering selling the product. Thanks to his guilty pleas, Law avoids a murder conviction and won't do life in prison. It emerged that British authorities won't charge him there either.
Some of these suicide websites marketed Law's products as a painless way to die, but the facts read out in court show that that is not true. Some of the people called 911 complaining of pain and vomiting, wishing that they had not taken the substance and didn't want to die, but by the time they had consumed the product, it was too late.
I walk with him in my heart in everything that I do. My passion, my drive, my everything is walking with my son.
Prosser is not pushing for a stiff sentence, just hoping that the trauma Law's actions caused can stop. John Woodward, CTV News.
A special council meeting was held today in Aurelia to discuss the future of the Samuel de Champlain statue. This comes nearly a week after the 16-foot bronze monument was reinstalled at Couchiching Beach Park and vandalized within hours. This afternoon, council gathered at the Aurelia City Centre to consider a move to transition the statue into interim, secure and neutral storage.
I absolutely agree that we should be working together. But that is not what has happened here. Staff were not informed. Council were not informed. We still don't know the cost breakdown. We still don't know whether permits were issued. This is not working together.
Council has now approved a plan, and under the recommended motion, staff will remove the statue and ensure that it is stored in a secure place. The costs associated will be covered through the city's tax rate stabilization reserve. After a delayed start, the iconic Trent Severn Waterway officially opened today. Parks Canada say conditions have improved enough to safely resume navigation across the full system, including locks 42 through 45, which have been closed since the season started back on May 15th. Water levels and flow still remain higher than normal in some areas, and officials are warning boaters to take it slow. And if you are heading to the cottage this weekend and planning a campfire, Muskoka fire officials say you'll need to follow some strict rules. The region's fire danger rating is now set to high, meaning open air burning is only allowed between 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. Officials say dry conditions across the region have left forests and grasslands extra vulnerable to fire, with even a small spark capable of creating a fire that will spread quickly. Non-recreational burning is still permitted for now, but officials are strongly discouraging that while the high risk remains in effect. And speaking of heading north, let's take a look at how traffic is looking tonight. We'll bring you a live look of Highway 400 in Barrie from our CTV tower camera here on Beacon Road. Traffic is, let's see here, I haven't got my glasses on, it's moving slowly right now through the Dunlop Curve corridor. But as summer inches closer, this scene will look a lot more congested, as that route, of course, to the cottage is quite a busy one. Casey Colby, how have you managed to make it this many years without needing glasses?
Oh, I have glasses. I need them all the time. Slipping them on, slipping them off. Absolutely. I couldn't see the traffic either. But yeah, we can certainly agree on a day like today when the sun is out, the warm temperatures, quite a wind, I might add. But yeah, everyone is craving a dynamite weekend, and it looks like Mother Nature is hearing you loud and clear and wanting to deliver. Let's take a first look at the forecast. Here we go, brought to you by our friends at the graveldrivewayguy.com, your local gravel driveway expert. 19 degrees, Sarah. The winds out of the northwest, hey, they're gusting 39. We've had gusts up to 52, 53 kilometers an hour. Let's talk about 21 degrees in Owen Sound, 22 in Mount Forest, 23 in Alliston, 25 in Toronto, 21 in Newmarket, and hey, it looks like 18 degrees up Parry Sound way. This is a look at the radar satellite images over the last little while, and now what you're seeing isn't necessarily really shower activity past through. There's false echo that is going through. Radar noise, if you will. Radar love, as we call it in some weather circles. And coming up in just a few minutes' time, how May is waving goodbye on the way out. And it looks bright and sunny, but is it that way for everyone? Well, I'll have the full story as to whether or not this is a sun hat or if it's a rain hat. All that coming up in a few minutes' time. Back inside, Sarah.
Hard to believe that May has already slipped away. Thanks, Case. An important note for commuters this weekend. There are service disruptions on the Barrie GO line. Metrolink says it will be shutting down service on the entire line for the whole weekend. 11 stations will be out of service, including Downsview GO, which will impact concert goers heading to Rogers Stadium to take in the final Bruno Mars show. Buses, however, will be running between Allendale Waterfront GO station and Rutherford GO. As politicians and industry leaders discuss the future of Canada's military, a quieter conversation in Barrie focused on the people who serve.
They're going to put in a claim with Veterans Affairs. Whatever your illness or injury is, it has to be related to service for you to get approved.
The Office of the Veterans Ombudsman met with local vets last night to help them better understand the benefits available through Veterans Affairs Canada and what options exist if they feel that they're not being treated fairly. The Ombudsman says these community visits have been held across the country over the past 6 years with a focus on making support more accessible for veterans and their families.
If you're a veteran receiving benefits from Veterans Affairs, you're supposed to be treated with respect, dignity, and fairly. And if you have an issue, you need to go somewhere to talk about that. Who are you going to talk to? Well, the Veteran Ombudsman.
If we find unfairness, we go across to the department and say, you know, for veteran so-and-so, you made this decision, we find it's unfair. For the most part, the department will correct the unfairness. So we very much see our role as reconnecting veterans back to the department to help rebuild the trust that needs to be there.
In that time, the amount of complaints to the office has gone up, which the Ombudsman says is a good thing because it means more people know to reach out when they're struggling. The fate of a man accused of killing his best friend now rests in the hands of a jury. Deliberations are underway in the murder trial of Gabriel DeCecco, who admitted to shooting William Schernhammer 2 years ago near Alliston. CTV's Mike Arcelides reports.
Sarah, 5 hours into deliberations and still no verdict in the murder trial of Gabriel DeCecco, who was accused of killing his best friend William Schernhammer 2 years ago. DeCecco, who is now 27 and has been behind bars since his arrest, testified that he killed Schernhammer because his friend of more than 10 years tried to force himself on him. DeCecco told the court he fired several shots at Schernhammer, then dumped his body in a ditch along the 25th Side Road south of Alliston.
Your mom's car has f***ing bullets in it, man.
Initially, DeCecco told police he didn't know what happened to his friend Schernhammer, who had been missing for 9 days, until DeCecco eventually told police where he disposed of Schernhammer's remains. Prior to being charged with murder, DeCecco told police a masked stranger emerged from a field that night, shot Schernhammer, and DeCecco loaded his friend in the car and left him by the side of the road. During closing arguments, defense lawyer Sam Goldstein conceded DeCecco lost control out of fear and panic during a chaotic sequence of events, during which DeCecco said he was provoked by Schernhammer, leading to the shooting. The Crown argued DeCecco murdered Schernhammer when he fired 4 shots at him at close range with a shotgun he had in his car that night, arguing he planned to murder Schernhammer, who had often teased DeCecco about his sexuality. DeCecco was described by witnesses as weird and strange and socially awkward. DeCecco claimed Schernhammer had previously sexually assaulted him in 2016. Those allegations were unfounded, and police did not investigate further when DeCecco came forward with his story in 2017. The jury is now tasked with deciding whether DeCecco planned to kill Schernhammer and is guilty of first or second-degree murder or manslaughter. If a verdict is reached tonight, we'll have it for you on CTV News at 11. Until then, I'm Mike Arsledies reporting outside the Barrie Courthouse. Sarah, let's send it back to you.
Okay, thanks for that, Mike. Nearly 250 educational staffing positions with the York Region District School Board are going to be eliminated. This, according to the union, saying it was members including educational assistants, secretaries, and administrative staff, as well as technology workers and librarians that were informed that they will lose their positions ahead of the upcoming school year. The town of Innisfil has provided a new update on repairs at the Stroud Arena. Officials say work is continuing behind the scenes, with the next phase of repairs expected to begin this summer. The town is currently targeting a late November 2026 reopening for the arena ice, while the banquet hall is expected to reopen in February of 2027. And Canada is set to unveil its World Cup roster this evening. Head coach Jesse Marsh invited 32 players to a training camp in North Carolina this week and plans to narrow that group to 26 tonight. Captain Alphonso Davies, is expected to be on the roster despite missing camp as he recovers from that hamstring injury. Canada will kick off the tournament against Bosnia in Toronto on June 12th. And we now know that Bryan Adams will be headlining a countdown concert in Toronto ahead of the FIFA World Cup.
Rolling, rolling, rolling with the punches.
On Wednesday, June 10th, there will be concerts happening at the same time in Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. ahead of the opening match of the tournament on June 11th. Bryan Adams and Wyclef Jean are among the artists set to perform on the FIFA Fan Festival grounds at Fort York and the Bentway. And it is a sure sign of spring as engines were roaring at Innisfil Beach Park. From classics to exotics, the popular Innisfil Beach Cruisers are back on the road for another summer season. The car club will roll into its temporary location at Innisfil Community Church every Thursday night, accepting donations to support the local food bank. Still to come, Going for Gold, one of the province's biggest lacrosse tournaments, returns to the region. Plus, no matter how you like to move, this run is for you. How you can support conservation efforts in our area. Stay with us. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Presented by Paul Sadlin Motors.
Music, it's a small community, so when something's really good, we all want to be part of it.
We have an amazing music scene here. Having people come together in community, listen to some amazing local artists, brings the downtown alive. It brings our city alive.
Troubadour Festival 2026 is going to be off the hook. Road Hammers, got the Watchmen, Bahamas, going to be great.
Welcome back. Going on 4 years now, it's been the major fundraiser for Ducks Unlimited, and once again, it's time to duck and run. You can walk, run, or even waddle at the Duck and Run. Last year nationwide, more than 1,700 participants did just that, raising more than $140,000 for Ducks Unlimited. There are 1 kilometer walking trails and 5 kilometer running trails to enjoy.
You know, wetlands in these habitats, they help prevent, mitigate the impacts of flooding and drought, and they help clean our air and water, and they mitigate the impacts of climate change. So it's not just about the habitat for wildlife, but it's all of the benefits they provide. And of course, these mean great opportunities for people to get out and explore nature.
The Duck and Run Barrie Ducks Unlimited is on June 6th at the Tiffin Centre for Conservation. One of the biggest youth box lacrosse tournaments in Ontario got the ball rolling this afternoon at the Peggy Hill Team Community Centre. More than 60 teams will be hitting the floor all weekend for the 2026 Anthony Accioni Memorial Classic. Players aged 6 to 21 from across the province are competing, all chasing championship glory.
Honoring the legacy of our dad is something that's obviously very important to us. All these kids out here competing, playing the sport that all of us love and that he loved and put so much into. It's very special, and yeah, it's going to be a great weekend.
Organizers say this year's event is even bigger than before, making it now the largest box lacrosse tournament in Ontario outside of the provincial championships. Say that 5 times fast, will you? After 50 years of service and $4 million raised, the man behind a long-running Newmarket charity event is stepping away. Joe Persicini has spearheaded the run, walk and roll for Easter seals for the last 5 decades as part of National Accessibility Week. Joe says it's been a great journey, but the time has come to move on.
I think when I met so many kids, Easter Seal ambassadors for all these years, I've met 50 of them, obviously, and seeing how much they, all what they need for accessibility through the house and through the homes, and like a vehicle costs up to $40,000 to $50,000. Wheelchair could go for $15,000 to $25,000, depending. And then, you know, seeing the kids smiling and being happy as they are, I said, geez, you know, sometimes maybe we're missing the boat. Yeah. Ourselves, we don't appreciate life as much as they do.
Joe's Walk takes place in Newmarket on Sunday, taking off from the River Walk Commons. There was a lot of school spirit and a whole lot of memories in North Barrie last night. Monseigneur Clare Catholic School celebrated its 50th anniversary with former staff, students and families filling the halls once again. A special ceremony in the gym gave old friends a chance to reconnect, while historical displays showcased 5 decades of school history, class photos and memorable moments.
Well, actually, Monseigneur Clare has a fantastic history of developing really strong leaders, caring leaders who, you know, they're very intentional in their purpose in serving, not being shy about stepping up when help is needed.
The school dedicated a time capsule that'll be buried and opened again for their 60th celebration. The 41st annual Pet Value Walk for Dog Guides is taking place this weekend in our region, happening at Sher Park and organized by the Barrie South Lions Club. It's an opportunity for people to help raise funds to restore independence and transform the lives of people who live with disabilities and different conditions, where dog guides can play a vital role in making life a little easier. Still to come, and we are just 1 week away now from the Troubadour Festival. We'll talk about what now lines the streets of Barrie to mark the summer concert series. But first, let's check in with Case. He's in Bob's Garden.
Hey, May waves goodbye with sunny skies for some, with rainy skies for others. That's right. Where you fit into all this equation. Coming up, and our Weather Watcher artiste will have a look. Sarah says, go for a drive this weekend in the countryside. You'll be amazed at what you see. You're watching CTV News Barrie.
Picture this, brought to you by Bounce 1041 and Pure Country 106.
What a week of our fabulous viewers and their families embracing sport. Thank you to everyone who sent in the photos. We got a lot of them. Now, next week, it's good vibes only. So please do send us your happiest, your funniest, your most feel-good photos, from smiling faces to pets and everything that brings you joy. Capture those moments and email them to us. Picture this at ctv.ca. Casey Colby, when I reflect on a photo that always makes me smile, it's of me and my sister, and it's up at the farmhouse. My dad has it framed. And it's the two of us standing on the dock in front of the hunt camp. And it's that time during the fall when all of the maple trees, the colors start to change and they've all turned yellow. And it's called Banana World. And that's because my dad said growing up when I was, 6 years old or something like that, I would look around and refer to it as Banana World. You?
Well, things haven't changed, Sarah. It's much the same way in a newsroom, actually. It's kind of bananas sometimes, isn't it?
That's a good one. Yes. Don't ruin that turn for me, okay? It's good.
Okay, all right, I won't. I'll back off. Let's talk about the forecast, because that's certainly something that we're going to not back away from, but embrace. Let's continue on right now with a weekend forecast as we say goodbye to May. Hello to June. Hello, sunshine. Hello, temperatures. 23 degrees at Alliston, 25 in Toronto, 21 in the Sunshine City of Aurelia. Looks like 21 degrees in Owen Sound and 20 in beautiful Collingwood, Ontario. What a gorgeous downtown. Almanac for today, 21 and 8. Yeah, we got there. 33.5, we didn't come close to that back in 2006, and thankfully 0.0 in 1884. We were far away from that too. Sun rises tomorrow, 5:38, sets at 8:54, 15:15. That's 15 hours, 15 minutes of daylight. This is the forecast radar for us to enjoy overnight, and oh, what an evening, right? What a day. Yes. Is that some active weather on the right, I see? Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the possibility as far as Mother Nature, what she's offering us for this evening. Southern tip of Georgian Bay, Lake Simcoe. 7 degrees overnight. That's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah, there's a few clouds kicking around, and the winds, ladies and gentlemen, we've had some pretty wild gusts out here. 40 to 60 K out of the west. They'll continue to gust. And then tomorrow, we're looking at temperatures 18, 21 degrees, sunny skies, and a change in wind direction. Okay, it comes out of the northeast. So that's what we have to look forward to tomorrow. Orangeville, Bradford, Georgina, Newmarket, Richmond Hill, 6 and 7 degrees. A few clouds this evening. Yeah, it'll be a little on the windy side. And then for tomorrow, well, the change in wind direction dies right down. Sunny skies, 19, 20 degrees. Lovely, 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 I should say. That is gorgeous, isn't it? And Parry Sound, Huntsville, Bracebridge, Gravenhurst, Haliburton, 7, 8, 6 degrees in Haliburton. It looks like one of the coolest spots in our area. And clearing skies, and there is an oh-so-slight chance of a little bit of rain this evening. Oh, so slight. No thunder activity, just a little bit of shower activity. And then for tomorrow, well, 22 degrees, sunny, for the most part, sunny skies. Pretty much 22 and 20 in Haliburton, so it looks like a gorgeous Saturday. How about the Sunday? Well, we're going to get to that in just 1 second. One last look as we embrace the Diamond and Diamond Lawyers 5-day extended forecast, and here we go. This is the last weekend in May. This is the 5-day extended forecast for Simcoe County, and it is nothing but sunshine to say goodbye to May and hello to June. And look at the temperatures. 21, 23, 22, 21, 23. We're starting to get the message, aren't we? Look at those overnights, 6 and 8. So it's kind of zippy overnight, kind of cool. 5-day extended forecast for York region. Same situation. Look at that. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Hey, we're saying hello on Monday to June 1st. 22 and sunny, 22 on the Tuesday, 23 in sunny skies on the Wednesday. 5-day extended forecast, York region. This is Muskoka, Parry Sound, Haliburton, and a slight chance of a passing shower, I say, on the Sunday. Oh, so slight. Lots of sunshine, but a slight chance of a passing shower. I do believe it would be in the evening, 23 degrees. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it looks like the start of a sun run. Yes, the sun run. You remember that? Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? That's the look at the forecast on land. Now, let's take a look at the forecast on the water. This is the Marine Report, brought to you by Suzuki Marine. Northern Lake Huron, Southern Lake Huron. Well, we're looking at a strong wind warning, no surprise there. Winds for both north and south, 15 to 10 knots, 15 knots this evening, 10 knots, decreasing to 10 knots tomorrow out of the northeast. And waves, about 1 meter this evening, dying down to about 1/2 meter tomorrow. Looks like 1.5 meters in South Lake Huron, dying down to about 1 meter tomorrow. As far as Georgian Bay and Lake Simcoe, wind speeds, well, yeah, 15 to 10 knots out of the northeast. It's 15 this evening, calming down to about 10 tomorrow out of the northeast. And waves, it looks like 1 meter this evening to about 1/2 meter on Saturday. And again, the strong wind warning is right across all the bodies of water surrounding our gorgeous area. Not as far down as Lake Ontario, at least not that I'm aware of. But have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you in a few minutes. Sarah.
Case, before I let you go, I'd like to draw our viewers' attention to something, and that's the umbrella that you had in your hand not long ago. That's the very umbrella that I was supposed to have stolen. I insisted it made its return to you, and then now we have the evidence that that is in fact true.
Mother Nature moves in very mysterious ways when it comes to unlocked cars.
Not true. Thanks, Casey. The Sound of Music. It will soon fill the air at Meridian Place as the Troubadour Festival Summer Concert Series. It returns in just 1 week, a week from tomorrow, in fact. Well, today, banners for the concert series went up around the city, building hype ahead of the festival's kickoff on June 6th.
The energy down here that it's going to bring is going to be really special. So from the city's point of view, we just want to make sure that everybody's aware of it. Our residents, our visitors, that when they come downtown and see these flags that we're putting up around the waterfront in the downtown, that they're reminded that downtown Barrie is the place to be for live music this summer.
Don't miss out on the fun as the Road Hammers are set to headline out that night. Now, it's a full day of family-friendly events and entertainment. It all starts at noon. The festival will bring live music, big crowds, summer energy back to the waterfront for another season. Presented by Paul Sadlin Motors and brought to you by CTV Barrie, Pure Country 106, Bounce 104.1, and the Downtown Barrie BIA. For a full schedule of the events, there's a lot going on, and our digital team has created an awesome section on our website, ctvnews.ca/Barrie, and you can click on that little summer concert series tab. I fought to get my face on one of the flags, but didn't happen this year. Always next year, I suppose. Now, there are always plenty of events happening around our region, and this weekend one is happening just north of here, up at Blue Mountain. CTV's Andrea Case has more on the festival that is set to bring film lovers to the village.
For 5 years, the Blue Mountain Film and Media Festival has lured people from the city to the town of the Blue Mountains near Collingwood. And fresh off his 17th trip covering the Cannes Film Festival, film critic Jason Gorber is back at the helm of the scenic event.
I want to celebrate cinema. The greatest thing, the whole reason to be a film critic, to be somebody who talks about movies, is to share one's love, one's passion with films. And so being given opportunity to basically program like a playlist, to actually showcase some of the world's best films to audiences both in the region, those that actually live up and around Blue Mountain, but the many people that come from Toronto, from all over the place to actually attend. We're showing some of the best films in the world. 33 films from 16 different countries, a number of Canadian premieres. We have documentaries, we have fiction films, we're doing outdoor screens, we have local premieres from some local filmmakers, but we have some astonishing Canadian works, and we have, again, stuff from all over the planet.
Gorber says the festival takes over 2 main theaters and promises great sound and picture, and outdoor screenings with question and answer sessions with filmmakers.
I want to treat every film like an event. It has never been easier to stay on your couch and just watch movies that way. And so the fundamental point for me is to actually make it special, make sure the projection is extraordinary. We have some of the best in the world actually helping us with projection.
The Blue Mountain Film and Media Festival runs until Sunday. Andrea Case, CTV News.
Still to come, the effects of a W5 special are still being felt. Another revelation into the ongoing saga of airport bag tag switching. Plus, we'll recap tonight's top stories. Please do stay with us. Recapping our top stories, the fate of a man accused of killing his best friend now rests in the hands of a jury. Deliberations are underway in the murder trial of Gabriel DeCecco, who admitted to shooting William Schernhammer 2 years ago near Alliston. 29-year-old Justin Harris has been arrested after police were called at 11:30 this morning for reports of a 36-year-old man stabbed and lying on the ground in the Bayfield Street and Dunlop Street West area. He's now died. Police arrested Harris just after 2 p.m. And officials have reported no injuries from the massive fire on Wednesday night in Oromadante, and affected business owners returned today to take a look at the damage. Crews remain on scene and they're starting to clean up the damage. Officials say they're hoping to have the repairs made in 2 months. Now to an exclusive investigation by CTV's W5. The unit has uncovered another alleged case of airport bag tag switching. This time, a Canadian woman was jailed in the Philippines. CTV's Avery Haynes reports.
The blurred woman in these photos at Manila International Airport is a 66-year-old Canadian. She's pleading, "That's not our luggage, that's not our bag." Inside, 24 kilos, more than 50 pounds of meth, a bust that made headlines across the Philippines.
They broadcast it nationwide. They already ruined me. They already humiliated me.
Surrounded by the paperwork that represents her nightmare, Grace reveals the heavy price she paid after someone switched her luggage tag onto a bag of drugs.
I was in jail for 24 days. We had to sleep on the floor. You can see cockroaches. All I can do is just pray.
Grace's Cathay Pacific flight last summer started in Toronto with a connection in Hong Kong and a final destination of Manila. Despite 24 harrowing days in jail and tens of thousands in legal bills, Grace says Cathay Pacific has taken no financial responsibility, not even for the return flight to Toronto, which she missed because she was in jail.
They kept on denying liability.
Other innocent passengers have reached out with similar horror stories. A Toronto man traveling with his wife and 11-year-old son last February on Air Transat arrested in Cancun, accused of smuggling 28 kilos of cartel cocaine. Detained for 48 hours in Mexico with thousands in legal fees, Air Transat denies any legal liability. A Toronto woman detained at Narita Airport in Japan with 21 kilos of meth last summer. She writes, "The trauma and fright I experienced was huge. At the age of 70, the fear was extraordinary." Every bag tag victim we've interviewed says the airline they trusted their luggage to has refused to take responsibility. Nicole was arrested on a WestJet flight to New Zealand with more than 20 kilos of meth.
WestJet basically said, "Oh, we're sorry for the inconvenience." I said, "I don't think we have the same definition of inconvenience."
Jan and Charlene detained on an Air Canada flight to Germany with 33 kilos of marijuana.
Customers are the ones buying tickets to fly, right? So, I mean, I would have hoped that they would have shown a little bit of concern for us.
So who bears responsibility for luggage after check-in? In a statement, Air Canada says checked baggage moves through a complex network of various third parties, and that in the rare event of tampering, liability will be determined based on the circumstances. Cathay Pacific, the airline Grace flew, didn't respond to our emails.
I suffered mentally, emotionally, physically, and even financially. Who will pay for that?
Avery Haynes, CTV News, Toronto.
Turning now to business news, more than 50,000 Canada Post workers have until tomorrow to vote on whether or not to accept a new 5-year contract. The labor unrest has dragged on for over 2 years, with workers taking to the picket lines several times over a lack of progress. The Canada Union of Postal Workers has asked its members to turn down the latest offer. A tentative deal was reached late last year, which included wage increases. Canada Post says it has lost over $5 billion since 2018 and will eventually be ending most door-to-door deliveries. Meanwhile, Canada's economy has slipped into a technical recession, according to new data from Statistics Canada. The new numbers show economic growth stalled in the first quarter, and Canada's real gross domestic product was slightly negative on an annualized basis. StatsCan is blaming higher imports of gold and a weak month for Canada's resource extraction industries in March for dragging down recent economic activity. Real GDP has now declined for 2 straight quarters, which meets the definition of a technical recession. With that being said, let's move into our markets to take a look at where the numbers closed to end our week. The TSX was up 251 points, the Dow was up 369, and the Nasdaq was up 55. And commodities, oil was down, closing at $87.36 a barrel. Gold was up, finishing at $4,593 an ounce, and our dollar was up, ending the day at 72.47 cents US. It seems like Canadians are once again taking advantage of subsidies for new electric vehicles. Since the program rebooted in February, Canadians have claimed more than $122 million in federal rebates. At the same time, car dealers say that they're still waiting to receive about $200,000 in reimbursements to cover those rebates, which is adding pressure to the bottom line. Staff from New Tecumseth are looking to strengthen international business ties with a trip to Japan. The town's chief administrative officer and the economic development manager are taking part in a regional trade mission alongside the county of Simcoe. The 5-day trip includes meetings and site visits in major automotive hubs, with delegates expected to meet with government officials and executives from car makers. New Tecumseth says Japanese-owned companies currently support more than 6,000 jobs locally and over 30,000 across the region. Finally, a cat up for adoption in Saskatchewan is getting a little extra attention thanks to a trait he shares with a Blue Jays pitcher. Take a look. This is Max Scherzer, the cat. Like Scherzer, the pitcher, the cat has one blue eye and one brown eye. The rare condition is known as heterochromia. He's in search of a forever family and is said to be both a sweet and curious cat. Can we get him on a flight? I'd be willing to make room, although I don't think Poos would get along very well with others. Still to come, setting sail on a pirate ship. An Ottawa company that owns 4 of the vessels is looking for a buyer. We'll have those details when we come back. Stay with us. Time now to take a look at your Friday night primetime lineup. Battle of the Generation starts at 8, followed by the new Mutants at 9 p.m. and CTV News Barrie at 11. Thanks for staying with us. If you've ever wanted to own a pirate ship, now is your chance. An Ottawa company which owns 4 of them is looking for a buyer. CTV's Peter Sperling has the details.
Welcome aboard the Grey Ghost, matey, the finest ship to ever sail any of the 7 seas, or at least Mooney's Bay.
Owen McGowan loves his job, also known as...
My pirate name is Big Muscle Russell. It's not because of me muscles, it's actually because of me pet mussel Camilla, who be particularly large.
He's part of the crew hitting the high seas of Mooney's Bay on a pirate ship, entertaining visitors.
It's indescribably cool. It's adventure. It's truly, in its purest form, just fun.
In search of tourists' gold, it's an anchor attraction here. Fun for families and children by day, escape games for adults in evenings, and now a chance to own it. Pirate Life, a tourism business here in Ottawa and in Toronto and Hamilton, is for sale. This ship can be yours.
We're a local attraction with almost 20 years of history in Ottawa, 10 years of history in Toronto. So much so that we've had young people who came on the boat when they were 4, 5, or 6 years old now apply and work with us during the summertime.
Owner Matt Slayman says he's planning on moving to Europe with his wife and is looking for a buyer.
And it's such a beautiful business. I mean, this, I think, is great for someone who wants to work outdoors during the summertime. They want to be down here on the docks, living their best life from May to October.
For sale, the business. 4 40-foot pirate ships in multiple locations, along with waterfront leases, licenses, and permits.
I think it's a great tourism experience. Sounds like a fun time, and I'm sure they'll have a lot of interest.
Oh, if I was ever in the market for one, I'd surely get it there. Maybe not this time. I got my small one for now.
Slayman says programs are running all summer.
And in the event we don't find a buyer, I'll still be captain of these ships and we'll still be cruising.
With Big Muscle Russell looking forward to another season.
What we have here is really special.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Let's see if Casey's still here for Get Up and Go. The way you said goodbye earlier in the show, I thought we might lose you.
Boy, the wind's really howling out here.
Yeah?
It's. I'm going to ask you in just a moment what would be your pirate name, but let's talk about the Get Up and Go forecast first thing in the morning as we say goodbye to May, our last Saturday in May. Sunny skies across the board. Sunny and 10 degrees in Barrie, sunny and 10 in Newmarket, and it looks like 9 degrees and a couple of clouds kicking around in Gravenhurst first thing tomorrow morning. I think my pirate name as a weather guy would probably be the Stumpy Barometer. Sarah, how about you?
Because you're missing a limb or your height. I don't know. I'll have to think about my pirate name. That's all the time we have for our newscast tonight. But on a personal note, I would like to mention that this is our producer, Chelsea Aleche's last day. On behalf of the team, Chelsea, it's been a pleasure working with you. We'll, of course, miss having you in the newsroom, but happy that we'll still get to see you out on the golf course. All the best. And to everyone at home, good night.